Welcome to Buildings of Tomorrow. In this episode, we'll be talking about BIM and the different databases which are used throughout the process. I'm joined today in the studio by Wolfgang Haas, a member of the Strategic Advisory Council at Building Smart International. Wolfgang, thank you for joining us. Please give us an insight on the different databases which are involved during the BIM process.
Yeah, most known, I think, is the database where the products are stored or the information about the products is stored. And this product database here, that's what suppliers should support with their data, because it's absolutely mandatory to have the right products built in, not black boxes which have to be replaced later on. And therefore we have, meanwhile, standards produced, defined by Building Smart International. The name is IFC, Industrial Foundation Classes. But there are also some company standards driven by the CAD drawing software manufacturers. And just because one or some are a little bit bigger and their market share is high, they brought it into the market, and so their standards are quite familiar in our industry. But that's not the only database we have, and there's another one we should really work on, and that's the project database. That's the database which belongs to the building. It's representing the virtual twin of the building. And for this database, we need a structure, a definition, how this database should look like.
Okay, so today we have the product database. Right. And at which stage of the process is this developed or completed? There are lots of products already available in these standards, and so we can, or the designer can really work with these product databases today. There is still a discussion which attributes are really belonging to the database, which not. But these discussions we will have the next years, and it's not finished. But the base is the right one, and we can add quite easily other attributes when the object itself is built in. So I would say we are on a good track there with a product database. It's not ready because there is a translation also necessary, because in the countries offshore they have different expressions for different types of data. So it's a translation issue. So we need dictionaries. Therefore, Building Smart is also working on these. The title therefore is Building Smart Data Dictionary. Mm-hmm. So that's, I would say, on a good track. But now we have to add also dynamic and functional data to these product information. And that's still part of the product database. On the other hand, we need this project database, because this is done, or we are using today the databases from the CAD systems. And they are really not prepared for this big amount of data. We are slowing down these programs, and they can't handle all these fields and so on. Maybe we should make a split of the database from the drawing systems, from the CAD systems. So it has to run independently, and that would be my big wish, company independent. So defined by a neutral organization. Okay, so it makes sense that the drawing tool does not also hold all of the information. Yeah. So this is how it should be, correct? Yeah. That we look to in the future. And let's say the drawings and the 3D pictures, that's just one part of the complete building. There are so many data behind, and they have to be organized. And it's very important to have, let's say, one structure behind, that everything is a little bit linked to each other. So the data, they have to be harmonized. They have to fit together, and then it makes sense. Then it's a real value. Then it's real. So is it fair to say that the product database is the collection of all the components in the building, but this project database is how they all work together? Exactly. And the product database is, let's say, the source where you can pick products and you can place it in your building, in the virtual building. Mm-hmm. And then later on, it has to build according to plans, for sure. But then you have all the information about these products also in your virtual model. So you know, for example, when the belt has to be changed, because it's part of the description of the product. On the other hand, you also will have the runtime of this fan, so you know when the fan or the belt of the fan has to be changed. So that's fitting for the facility management very good together. So there's a relation between these data.
And this is a huge relationship to understand the lifetime of the product, which would be built into the product data, but then how long it's been running, which would be part of the project.
And we can do this just the same today, but there's a lot of manual work and interpretation necessary. And we can automate this if the structure is standardized.
Okay. And who has the responsibility to define what these databases should look like?
Yeah, the responsibility, it's on one hand, the input is coming from the vendors, from the different one, because they can offer something. But let's say the wish list should come from the operators.
Okay.
And we can hopefully convince them as supplier with the right data. But we are not producing data if nobody needs data. Yeah, so there has to be a request from somewhere. And I would say most of the data will be used during the construction and operational time. And so there's a real value for them. But there is another problem in our 2 days process. The influence of those who are doing the operational facility management, the influence in the planning phase is minor.
Yeah.
In many cases, they are not known. And so we have to change a little bit our mind here just to have an ear what they really want. And maybe a small investment in the beginning will save a lot of money later on in the operational cost. Yeah. But there is again, we have to rethink the financial model because the investment is higher, but the savings are huge.
Yeah.
But it's a different pocket.
So the owner or the operator at some point has to provide more information on what they would like to do in the future.
Yeah, they would love to have them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But usually they are not heard.
The way things are today. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much. And thank you all for joining us at Buildings of Tomorrow. Please feel free to comment, like, or share this episode or subscribe to us here on this channel. We look forward to seeing you again soon.